Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another video here. We're going to be reviewing the Chiefs-Raiders game, and I'm also going to be giving you guys my top 10 power rankings for this week so far. I know the Monday night game hasn't been played yet, but still going to give you guys my top 10 power rankings. I just thought I'd throw that in there. I kind of want to start adding stuff in to this because I obviously like to review all the Chiefs games. I gave you guys my picks on all the games a little bit earlier this week, so I'm planning on doing that again. I just don't know, if we want to talk about all the games, which I wouldn't mind doing at some point. But if we want to start that, that's going to be, a really long, maybe even an hour or two episode. Now, I'm not against that. I'm just saying for right now, I feel like adding in the top 10 power rankings, still breaking down the Chiefs team since they're my squad, I feel like that'll be pretty good for now. We'll get a little power rank stuff at the end after we review the Chiefs game. And, let's dive into it, man. It doesn't get much hairier than that game, does it? I mean, unless you're not a fan of the Chiefs or Raiders, you love that game. You a fan, you hate it, dude. Nobody. I mean, who the hell wants to go through that game like that? Come on. I'm a Chiefs fan, and I'm sitting through that entire game. I mean, yeah, granted, I know I got my homeboy on my side, and I'm like, you know what? All right, he's got a shot here. But damn, it's just, when you're in that type of close games with your squad, it's always just super, wild. Whenever the other team gets anything, it's tough. Your emotions are just up and down throughout the whole game. It's always a good time. But, for real, yeah, I love that the Raiders are actually good again. I mean, we can start there. So, as a Chiefs fan, I mean, some people wouldn't want their division to be well. But I'm really not like that. I mean, I always like a good rival, especially, even I'm a Chiefs fan, that's a great rival. I mean, it's a fun one. Who doesn't like when the Chiefs and Raiders are good and you get to, watch that rival? It's just been tough for the Raiders of late. So I'm definitely not one of those people that wish they were crap or anything. I'm actually pretty excited that they're good. You get these matchups, these nasty ones. I mean, I can only imagine what the future holds for these matchups, but, division for the Raiders were probably on the line last night, to be honest, because, now Chiefs 3 games ahead up. That's a pretty decent lead for them. But let's dive into the actual game here. So Chiefs win that 35-31. Yeah, 35-31. End up getting the late touchdown. About as close of a game as you can get, though. I mean, defenses were tough. It was an offensive game. That's 100% sure. I liked how Derek Carr played, and I mean, obviously loved how MAHOMES played. I'd say let's start with the Raiders, and we'll end with the Chiefs. So let's check out how the Raiders did. So the Raiders actually played really well. I was very impressed with how the Raiders played. I'd say the one thing that surprised me is I thought the ground game would be a lot more effective for them. I guess if I had one bright spot on my defense, I would say it was run defense, which is surprising to say the least. Held Josh Jacobs to 55. So as a team, they were nearing that 100 mark, about 80-ish as a whole team. But they really impressed me receiving. I'd say really the person who did was Derek Carr. Derek Carr really impressed me. Because I definitely was one of those people. I wasn't a hater. I felt like since he had gotten injured, I mean, it's a realistic look on it. Since he had gotten injured, if you just look at the numbers, they had completely went down. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like this was a great showing for him because it's the biggest game of the year for the Raiders. I mean, it is. It just is. And when they're playing the Chiefs, and I know that the Chiefs were on their A game that game. They played well, at least offensively. Defense is another story, but offensively they were great that game. So for them to be able to hang in there like that, it's got to be a big step for them. Carr played well. He went on a streak there for a little bit where he didn't throw a damn incompletion. Just shredding the Chiefs defense. You know what? That was rough to watch. That first, I mean, they had anything. They wanted really receiving. Derek Carr was able to move around, which really surprised me. Chris Jones, I mean, he was a factor. They were having to double him and stuff, but he just, the defensive line in general wasn't causing the disruption I'm used to seeing when I even watch a Chiefs game. I know their defensive line isn't the best in the league, but when you got Chris Jones, you got Derek Nottie, you got Frank Clark, They did eat up the run pretty decent, but the pass rush was a little concerning that they weren't getting, but you also got to put that the Raiders have a very good offensive line. I mean, I'd probably say the #1 O-line in the league. If I'd have to pick one, I'd say they do have the #1 in the league. I mean, Derek Carr had it all day back there, and then when he had to move around a little bit, he just rolled up a little bit, made some stuff happen on the move. So nothing really bad to say about Carr, to be honest. Usually you have maybe a bad thing or two to say. Usually ends up throwing a pick. Really, the pick came at the end of the game, so impressive there. Yeah, like I said, the run game was a bit concerning. I definitely like how the Chiefs handled that. Secondary's tough right now for the Chiefs. It's really tough. I mean, they got roasted, dude. Derek Carr roasted him. You got Darren Waller. I mean, not really much I can say about that because he's just amazing. He makes some grabs, dude. Some freaking grabs he'll make. Nelson Aguilar had some grabs, had that huge PI call in the end zone that took him there late in the game. Hunter Renfrow had a couple, but yeah, Nelson and Darren nearly had 100 yards just by themselves apiece. So that really shows you how tough the Chiefs' defense was. Then when you look at the Raiders' defense, really the Chiefs' offense had their way. Trayvon Mullen did have a big pick on the Chiefs going into the second half. I feel like that was kind of a miscommunication because you've seen afterwards Mahomes was saying cut inside, and it definitely was on the inside wide open. So maybe on the receiver there. I mean, I definitely don't want to jump to conclusions, but definitely looked like it was open on the inside. I'm probably the most upset about that. I don't know. I just want a year where a quarterback throws one pick. Do you think it'll ever happen? I just want 1 year. Okay, I'd prefer 0. I'd love to see that happen. It doesn't even have to be with my quarterback. I just want to see it happen. I'd love to see where you're just, I mean, like. Now, I think I know it's happened before. There might have been one where someone came in to replace somebody. But I'm talking like a full 16-game season. I would love to see a 1-pick game or just a 0, you know? I just want to see it. But moving on to the Chiefs, yeah, let's get to them. My homeboy led that drive in the end. I really did. I mean, when it got to that point, I had no doubts that he would lead the game-winning drive there. But throughout the game, you really couldn't ask for much because it was a Sunday night game where, so let's be honest, there really wasn't much defense to be had on either side. And it was just one of those games where you score. I mean, there wasn't many punts either. It was just one of those games. Offense scored, other offense scored. Offense scored, other offense scored. It was just going back and forth. And it was getting out of hand. Mahomes was having, a really good day still. Kind of pretty upset about that pick. I really wanted him to have he would have been at, it would have put him up to 27-1 on the year. It's still 27-2 is nothing to hang your hat on. I mean, that's a great year. But yeah, he ended up with 34 of 45, 348, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Just completely destroyed the secondary. And it's not like they just played zone and sat back either. I felt like the Raiders did a great job of they'd mix. They'd really go man, and then you couldn't really get a feel when they'd go man or zone. So it was pretty tough to get a feel for that. And then I felt like they did not allow many deep shots at all. If any, I don't recall many deep shots being had that game at all. I feel like a lot of the yards were just rack, to be honest, or just routes that were caught and then tackled immediately after. There really wasn't like, oh, that's a 75-yard bomb. You know what I'm saying? It really wasn't that game. I felt like the Raiders did a good job of going, 2-man, maybe even 3-man deep. And then obviously when they go those man situations, you're double covering Tyreek, you're double covering Travis, and you're just letting anybody else beat you, to be honest. But what I love from Mahomes, what I think is so underrated, is just his pocket presence, man. And his mobility outside the pocket. He feels like the Raiders didn't do a great job of getting pressure. I'll be the first person to admit that. Like I said, neither defense did. You got to think, though, so the Raiders were without Trent Brown, and then the Chiefs were without Mitchell Schwartz. I still think he's the best right tackle in the league. So you got to think without him as well, he's moving around a little bit. You know, offensive line's holding up, so that was pretty good for them to hold up without still Mitchell Schwartz. And I just love when he feels a little bit of pressure, how he can move up through the gaps, just feels it perfectly. And he's just able to make stuff happen. I mean, nearly had a flawless game if it wouldn't have been for that interception. Run game, again, love what the Chiefs are doing. Usually they'd say, you know what, Mahomes, go win. They're still doing that. You know what? He's throwing it 45 times, but the difference is there's at least a run game to rely on. You had Clyde, 14 carries, 69 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, you might think it's nothing to be like insane about, but 4.9 average a carry for Clyde, I'll take. Then you had Le'Veon Bell, 7 for 25. I'd love to see a bit more Le'Veon Bell. I know Clyde's going off right now. It'd be tough to do to Clyde to give more carries to Le'Veon Bell, but I've been one of the people since he was back in Pittsburgh and I heard about him wanting to get traded. I've wanted Le'Veon Bell on the Chiefs. Dude, I just have. I'd love to see him get more carries. I really would. I just would. And I'm not saying he's even better than Clyde. It's just that style. I don't know. There's something about it that I want to watch. When he gets going, and it's not even on the first carry or two. I think he had 2 carries, but then it was on his 3rd carry. I mean, I don't know. It just looks different when he gets out there, dude, and he starts hitting his patient running, and he hits like a half juke, half spin, but it's not like a full one because he's even juking and spinning patiently. I don't know. I just want to see more of it. I really do. He had another touchdown as well, but I feel like it's going to increase the more the year goes on here. So, gosh. I mean, Chiefs, yeah, 9-1, and they're still not the first seed, which is so tough. Travis Kelce had a day, dude. Travis Kelce had a day. 8 for 127, a touchdown. Averaged 15.9 yards a grab. Tyreek, 11 for 101. Kind of a little bit, not really sure what to think of McColl not getting involved much. I definitely thought since Sammy was out, you know, Byron got targeted more than McColl did. So I'm not sure what was going on there. I don't know if McColl, I know he was on the COVID list for a little bit. So I don't know if he's getting over that still a little bit. But I don't know. I felt like McColl was going to be a huge factor in this game. I really did. I did. Yeah. One more note on this was that grab by Kelce. I know it wasn't much, but with that toe drag, I mean, hey, tight end's toe dragging it. You're going to see it every day. You're hitting the toe drag on the sideline. Kelce was. That's a nice toe drag. Then let's just wrap it up on it. Don't really need to talk about the Chiefs' defense. I mean, we already did. Neither team on defense played great. Really wasn't impressed with the Chiefs' defense in the least. I mean, they did, like I said, hold the run game back a little. But I was most impressed with just them stopping the run game a decent amount. Pass game, pass defense in general was tough. Really tough. But, yeah. Chiefs get it done. They're going to move to 9-1 on the year. So they're taking on Tampa Bay next year. That's going to be a matchup, dude. That's going to be a matchup. I think this has to put Mahomes up at the front of the MVP conversation. I really do. I really do. He's going to be at 27-2. That's his year. That's wild, all right? That's wild in itself. 27-2, and it's going to be better than that. Yeah, I mean, there's really not, I don't even really have to make a case. I just feel like he's the leading MVP candidate. I mean, right now, I'd say Tom's definitely up there. He's playing well, and it has a lot to do with the storyline. I'd still have Mahomes at 1. I don't know if Russ is all the way up there anymore after he's had a couple rough games. He did win, but again, he's had a couple rough turnover weeks. I'd have to start putting probably Kyler up there if I'm being honest. Obviously, A-Rod lost, which is tough. Yeah, I'm making the case for Mahomes. I'm making it. All right. Let's go ahead and get into the power rankings, though. That's going to wrap up the game review for the Chiefs-Raider game. Great game that was. Couldn't ask for a better Sunday game. I just was on the edge of my seat the entire game. Nothing much, you know, just... It was wild. It was wild. Getting in to the top 10 power rankings. I don't know if I'll break these down in depth a whole lot, but I'll just give you guys my top 10. So, again, it might be a little weird because I'm releasing this before the Monday night game where the Rams and Tampa both play. So you guys might understand why it might be a little weird after we dive into these. So let's go ahead and dive into them. So at number 10, I'm going to still have the Raiders there at number 10. They showed me a lot against the Chiefs to like. So I'm keeping them within the top 10. They showed me a lot. You know, they moved. They looked really good. They're the 10th ranked team for me right now, so I'm going to go from 10 to 1. Moving on to 9. This is where it might get a little weird. I'm going to have the Rams ranked at number 9. Now, I mean, obviously, if the teams won on Monday night, they'd probably move up a spot or two. But I thought about it, and this is the list I would keep no matter what if Tampa or the Rams lose this week or tonight. So no matter what happens tonight, this would still be my top 10 list. It would just move around a little bit with the Rams and stuff. So we got the Rams at number 9. Love what they've been doing. You know, Jalen's been shutting people down, shutting DK down. Aaron Donald's been getting it done. Love what Sean McVay's been doing with the offense. It's looked really good. Yeah, so I'm going to have Rams at number 9. At number 8, I'm going to have the Colts after that big win against the Packers. Huge win, some would say. Well, everybody would say that's a huge win. That's probably the breakout win of the year there for the Colts. They needed one of them big team wins. Like, you know, are we going to take out one of them elite teams? They did. They took out the Packers and A-Rod. So that's got to earn them up on the list. They weren't even on my top 10, to be honest, before this week, but that win vaults them right into it. You take out the Packers, you move it into the top 10. Then at number 7, I do have the Packers still. I'm not going to take the Packers out of the top 10 just for one tough game. They did play the Colts tough. It's not like they got shredded and blown out. Went to OT. They lost an incredibly tough game. You know, you can't win them all. 34-31 loss. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he didn't play horrible. He still went for 311, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. It's just, you know, the Colts, they had a better game than they did, and they got it done. So that's why I'm giving the nod to the Colts to the Packers at number 7 there. Moving on to number 6, I am going to have the Seahawks at number 6 there. So I know Russell, you know, he has had a couple turnover weeks, but they got it done against Arizona. Again, it wasn't like we had seen Russ cooking, you know. He trying to trademark let Russ cook. It wasn't like how we seen those when he was on fire. But they got it done. They beat Arizona, a tough team, anybody would say. So I'm putting the Seahawks at number 6 on the list. At number 5, I am going to have the Cardinals at number 5. I know it's a little weird having them above Seattle, but I still like what they did just a little bit better. I really do. I don't know. If I'm being honest, I like that offense a little bit more than what I've seen from Russell these past couple of weeks. First couple of weeks, loved Seattle. They were my number 2 offense in the league behind the Chiefs to watch. But since, you know, Russell's had a couple tough weeks, didn't look great in the win against Arizona. Didn't look great. That's why I'm giving the edge there to Arizona, slightly the edge. All right, moving on to the 4th power rank here. I'm going to go with the Saints here at number 4. Like what Taysom Hill did, he had some nice plays. He really did. They beat the Falcons. I mean, I know some Falcons, and to be honest, I was going to move the Saints a little bit lower than they were, but I feel like they hold on until Drew gets back. Hopefully, I'm, knock on wood that he does get back relatively soon. I know he does have a pretty substantial injury with his lung, couple fractured ribs. Had fractured ribs. They ain't fun. To be able to play through that's a huge deal for him, and it just shows his toughness. It really does. Taysom Hill played okay. Like I said, he had a couple nice things here. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, no passing touchdowns. So he did some nice things. they did what they should have did. They should have beat Atlanta. You know, not much to talk about. Their defense is really heating up for the Saints. So I'm keeping the Saints here at 4, moving on to 3. This is another one of the ones that would just move a little bit. It wouldn't take them out of the top 10, but it probably would move around a little bit if Tampa lost here. I have them at 3. So at the moment, again, this is before the Rams and Tampa play. And I have Tampa at 3 because, again, just mainly because of the weapons. First of all, look at their weapons. Talking Mike, Chris Godwin, AB, Gronk. Just playmakers, you know, got Ronald Jones, Fournette running it back there. Defense does seem to have fallen off the last couple of weeks, no doubt about it. You know, to what they looked the first couple of weeks, it was like on pace for like an insane year. Now it's kind of going down, not all the way down. It's still there. It's just not what the defense was when they destroyed Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, I'm giving Tampa the power ranking number 3. Moving on to the second power ranking here, I am giving it to the Steelers. They're undefeated. I mean, they're undefeated. That's really why they're getting number 2. You know, at times Ben hasn't looked great. At times Ben's looked okay. Just that defense. That defense is something. All right, it's something. It's something. That's all I can say. That defense in Pittsburgh is something. So yeah, that's why they're number 2. All right, that's just why they're number 2. Number 1, obviously, I got to give it to the Kansas City Chiefs. I know some people might say, "How are you gonna have them power ranked above the undefeated Steelers?" First of all, I feel like if they met, that would be a horrific matchup for the Steelers. I feel like the Chiefs do things that it's tough for Pittsburgh. Especially, like, I feel like man-to-man is not good if Pittsburgh wants to try to go that route against the Chiefs. Again, the Chiefs, I feel like, should have Mitchell Schwartz back by that time if they would meet in the playoffs. And, again, Chiefs can pass protect really good when they have their healthy tackles. I just feel like it wouldn't have been a great matchup for the Steelers. That's not why I put the Chiefs above them. I just feel like the Chiefs are better offensively as well, and they have Mahomes. That's enough to me. They have Mahomes, boy, and that's enough to have them at number 1 any year, to be honest. So that is my top 10 power rankings. Let me know your guys' top 10 power rankings. I know this episode is a little bit longer, but yeah, I do want to start adding in the top 10 power rankings weekly so we can see, you know, if any of them change week to week, if I take anybody out or put anybody up. And I just like to break these games down with the Chiefs as well. I love to talk about the Chiefs no matter what happens, just to talk about the game and break it down a little bit. So let me know what you guys did think about this, if you guys did want to see it more, and make sure to let me know your guys' top 10 power rankings as well. I'll catch you guys next time.